Potent Ponder, and I'm back with another video. Yo, please come in, thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell notification, hit all notifications so you have my videos in your possession each and every time I go live or I do uploads. I hope y'all all doing well. It's Monday evening. Listen, I'm here. I want to talk about Diddy. Day 19 in court. Jane Doe testified. She continued to testify. She started her testimony on Friday. So tomorrow she's supposed to get crossed. And you know, a lot of people, first and foremost, please make sure that you support this channel. The Cash App is in the comments below. Also, please make sure that you sign up for my walking, running, wellness challenge. It's on the Pacer app. That is going to be in the description of this video. I appreciate all of y'all who signed up and who's active in it. Yesterday, I had a real slow day. I went out to brunch and then I ended up getting twisted, had a few drinks, and then I woke up at 10 o'clock at night and I was like, no, I got to get my steps in. I started going crazy. Made it to 14,000 steps in almost 2 hours. So shout out to me. But listen, this is what I want to tell you before we get into the commentary. When you don't do your movement, you're not fooling nobody but yourself. When I look in the mirror and I see myself compared to how I looked at my videos last year, 2 years ago or whatever, I see growth and I see the weight loss. So, you know, you're never fooling anybody but yourself. So you can make it seem like, you know, like you're getting over oh, I'll start tomorrow. I'll start. And if you're one of those people who say you start diets on Monday, stop it. You can start a diet on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. You can start it anytime you want to. It's all based on your determination. So listen, let's get into it. Subscribe, all of that. So let's talk about Jane Doe. Now, I've been listening to a lot of different channels. I listen to a lot of different channels throughout the day. I love commentary, and I just like to hear different takes from different people. Some people feel as though that Jane Doe is, you know, she was complicit with Diddy as far as her wanting to be engaged with these freak-offs. You know what I'm saying? Hotel nights or whatever, what have you, you know? And I personally believe that, she mentioned that she wanted to do it to impress Diddy based on the promises he was throwing at her. And see, I was listening to a few different channels and they were saying that is where the fraud comes into play. But for me, I feel like at the end of the day, we're going to have to wait to see what the jury deliberates on. You know, they state that they have clear instructions on what to look for. You know, that they said that the force, fraud, and coercion is clearly there with Cassie. And I do think the force, fraud, and coercion is here with Jane Doe as well. I do personally think that is there. But a lot of people, they just want to be in support of Diddy, or they just feel like, you know, this hoe, she wanted to get it. She won, you know, she knew what she was doing. Well, anyway, I just want to read some takeaways from the trial today. Today is day 19. I just want to read some takeaways and just go over it and add some commentary to it. So please make sure that you watch the video to the end. So listen. All right, day 19, Sean Diddy Combs' trial. His ex-girlfriend, Jane, finishes her direct examination. And first, he wasn't trying to say that was his girlfriend. And then all of a sudden, he was mad because he said that she was with another guy. Anyway, what to know about the sex trafficking trial. A former girlfriend of Sean P. Diddy Combs, identified under the pseudonym name of Jane, she returned to the stand on Monday and broke down during her testimony last week, which described encounters with intimate partners during alleged hotel nights, freak off. You know what I'm saying? All right. So during hotel nights, she alleged that Combs threatened to release intimate sex tapes of her to her baby father, which, you know, it's alleged that he's another rapper in the game. You know who it is. I don't want to say the name, but it's alleged that, you know, that Diddy, and what did Diddy do to Cassie? He threatened tapes. All right. Jane testified that Combs was paying her rent, continues to pay her rent, and she is one of the 4 accusers referred to in the government's indictment, and alleges that he ran a business having his assistants and all these people involved. Yo, Diddy, to me, in my own personal opinion, I know people are hopeful, but on the technicality, he's done. I don't care what you feel and what you think that she was a part of. Just based off of the things that happened today, it's still did on her behalf today. So listen, so she's one of the 4 accusers in the government's indictment that alleges that he ran his business empire as a criminal enterprise and exploited women through the means of financial support. And let's also touch on this too. Diddy had an obsession with men. You know, just the mere fact that he was telling this girl, you know, when she didn't want to perform, it was a point in his testimony today. He shoved ecstasy down her throat and told her to go out there and F that N-word and go suck his phallus. You that excited off seeing somebody get sucked? Diddy got a problem, and I feel like either these girls is covering it up, or maybe he did freak offs with maybe Stevie J. Stevie J is his bottom bitch, in my opinion, right? So listen, Combs faces 5 criminal charges, 1 of racketeering conspiracy, and that right there is the criminal enterprise with his gang being down on him, the transporting of the drugs, KK, all of that. Last week, this woman just testified that KK, she was, transporting some drugs from, was it like Miami to LA or whatever? And she told her that, she was scared, and then KK told her that she did it before too. So she is a co-conspirator coming soon, right? So that's that, the arson. And then, the criminal enterprise. So it's like a lot of people that I know that y'all rooting. Listen, I don't want the worst for Diddy, but what you do in the dark is going to come to the light. And I can't believe that these people be rich. This is why I don't envy no celebrity. None of them. They all miserable. Listen, not all, but a lot of these people is miserable on drugs, popping pills, doing X, Y, Z. I don't care. They're prize prisoners. They walk around with security. They can't go to the grocery store like we do and just be out. Listen, they might have money over us, and you assume they got money, but they ain't their prize prisoners. I don't envy none of them at all, right? So, all right. So, this live briefing may include graphic descriptions. So they're just giving that, right? So we just gonna go through the day and just kind of like go through it and tell you what happened. So Jane Doe, she's back on the stand today. She started on Friday and she wrapped up today. They went long today. So tomorrow, the cross-examination, I'm going to go over that too. Make sure that you subscribe if you still here, and thumbs up. So Jane Doe, a former girlfriend of Combs, to retake the stand today. All right. So Combs' lawyer requested a mistrial for the second time. I know you probably heard about that over the weekend. Lawyers for Combs, for the second time, have requested a mistrial in 2 weeks. Called for a mistrial as he faces charges of trafficking and other alleged offenses. On Saturday, his legal team wrote the judge that he asked for a mistrial for what they claim to be prosecutorial misconduct, alleging that prosecutors knew that the witness's testimony was false, and they're not going to get a mistrial. They were saying something about that Cassie stated that she seen Diddy hanging the girl over the 17-story building, and then I guess in Cassie's testimony it was kind of just flaky, and she said they pretty much just tried to say that they was lying. That is the job of the defense, to make the witnesses seem as though that they're lying, to poke holes in their story. So we'll see what happens with that tomorrow, but I don't think they're going to get a mistrial at all. All right, so court is in tow now. All right, Jane Doe is back on the witness stand. The witness in the morning wearing a white jacket, as lead prosecutor Maureen Comey continued the government's direct examination. Jane stated that she was worried about Combs using his phone for sex videos, right? Recording her. And I said this before, that I believe that Diddy, he got all them people involved in drugs, and he don't love none of them women. How would you have all these men going in and out of them just to get your fantasy? What is it? You like to see the cheeks poking them, or you like to see the thrust going in and out? Either way, it's crazy. It's like you ain't want to get it on. Like, what I'm saying? You want to see them get mashed out by another guy, and poom poom just stressed to the max. Poom poom stretched to the max. That's crazy. But you know what? This is how men get in women's mind, because they tell them, they're going to promise you something. I'm telling you, I know a lot of y'all been through it. How many times you got with a guy and they start asking you about a threesome, and the next thing you know, you don't really want to do it, but you want to do it because you want to keep them, and you want to keep them around, baby. That's coercion too. Let's move on. All right. So the witness said that she was concerned about Combs taking explicit videos of her during on his primary 2 cell phones, because others on his team knew the security codes to get into the devices. She testified that she asked him to make sure that it was locked. All right. Combs took another woman on a yacht trip, and they saying they believe that this was Young Miami, who was also, I believe she was talking crazy to her when she called when Diddy was beating this woman. All right. So Jane Doe testified that Combs had promised to take her on a yacht. This is where the fraud comes in. He promised to take her on a yacht. He promised to spend more time with her. He promised a relationship, right? In a hotel night. She then noticed on social media that Combs went on a yacht without her with someone else. She said that she voiced her frustrations, and Combs was dismissive. Of course, all narcissists are dismissive. They make it seem like it's you. They get in your mind. They make it say, oh, you bugging. That's you. You know what I'm saying? Listen, when you too educated to be manipulated, listen, that's me. You can't manipulate me. They later on met at a hotel, and he tried to calm her down and claim that there was no SCX, but on the podcast, he allegedly stated that he was on a trip and he had so much sex with these women in like 48 hours, right? So Jane Doe texts Combs that she didn't want to be used in a hotel room, used and locked in a room. So this is where, people start figuring out, like, was this forced? She's making it known throughout her testimony that she didn't want to do this. So the court was shown text messages Jane sent to Combs after being upset after apparently he lied to her about going on a yacht trip with another woman. So Jane texts Combs in 2023 that she didn't want to be used and locked in a room to perform and fulfill his fantasies. Why is his fantasy in seeing another man mash the punani up? But why he don't want to be in it? Huh? You know, they said he dealing with a shortage. Who knows if he busts quick, and then he want to play in the semen too, play it and rub it all over his body. It's a sicko, sick. And when I see his face, I think a demon, 666. All right. So she wrote that she didn't want to fly to New York to be a hoe. She did not want to fly to New York to be a HODE for the millionth time in a hotel room. Ooh, man, ladies, I'm telling you, be strong. Because when you really like a guy, you never know how far you'll go to perform and to be that one that he's always going to call and count on. You know, I'll do it. You know how many women I know that got the mentality, I'll do it. Call me. Like, even if you don't like it, you'll do it just to satisfy. Stop doing that. You're going to end up in a bad predicament, right? So let's continue. Jane felt like she had to perform for rent. Ooh, and they saying that this girl was doing OnlyFans too, getting money, child support through a rapper as well. Right? So with Combs paying her rent, Jane said that there was a sense of obligation to perform. Now I think this is where people coming off saying that she wanted to do this because she wanted to perform to get the money, right? Regular SEX asked for the defendant, right? She felt guilt trippy things associated with living under the roof that was paid for by Diddy. The witness testified. The arrangement made me feel like I had to perform sex for housing, Jane said. A text message which she sent to Combs was shown in court, and which she wrote, "I'm doing things that make me feel disgusting to myself." Right. But she did admit that she had to do it for housing. Now, how much money you was getting for child support, that wasn't enough for the housing. See, a lot of people want to live outside their means, and they don't want to make it seem what it really seemed. Listen, never live beyond your means. Don't do it. Sometimes I even do it. Sometimes I overspend. Like I got $2,700 in credit card debt right now. But guess what? By the end of the month, by July when my statement re-up, that debt gonna be zero. All right. So Jane said she had to have XCX with cowboy heels at Trump Hotel. All right. So Jane said that she was growing tired of having SCX with strangers at Combs' behest in the 2023 incident with a cowboy wearing heels. Stated that it was particularly upsetting. Her voice cracked with emotion, explaining how she thought that she was going to have private time with Combs for dinner and shopping, but instead she met up with Combs at the Trump International Hotel Tower in New York. "He gave me ecstasy," she recalled. He always giving people ecstasy. Let me know in the comments if you ever tried ecstasy. Just put tried it in the comments. Don't put the actual, the drug. Just put tried it. I've never done anything except weed. Ever. Never. In alcohol. And don't want to. Never popped no pills. Never did none of that, right? So he gave her ecstasy. I was in the lingerie and stated that, and I was in lingerie and his new surprise was coming. The man came. Then Cabral came. All these men is Diddy surprise. All these men he want to see drilling. I think he be wanting to see the cheeks clap from behind and hit them, and just that's where he get off and you know what I'm saying? She and the male ex-worker had intercourse in front of Combs. Jane said he was paid in cash according to the witness. All right. So Jane said that she told Combs, "I am not a PORN star," letting him know that she don't sling that punani like that. Even though he had men in and out of her, not wearing protection. She had UTIs, painful. Same story as Cassie. Ooh, he treated her like a dog, like Lassie. All right, man. So Jane said that she told Combs that she was not a Pinot star. By October 23, Jane said that she had reached the boiling point with Combs' demands for her intimate performances. Combs texted Jane to say that he was missing her, and the witness interpreted that his next request was for her to have sex with a stranger. "I said, call someone else. I am not a P star," Jane testified. "This is exactly how I felt." Right? But then I feel like tomorrow, the defense, they're going to cross-examine her and they're going to be like, "Well, you said that you had to do it for the rent. So did you not, or did you want to do XYZ? I hope that they're prepping her tonight and that she come in tomorrow and she's stunning. You know what I'm saying? So Jane says that Combs got into a fight over arranging another SCX party. that she and Combs got into a fight. Jane testified that she and Combs got into an argument after he asked her to set up another hotel night, freak off, when she was spending time when he was spending time with another woman. She told the court that Combs texted her because he wanted her to reach out to men to set up another night while they were in Los Angeles. But Jane noticed online chatter that he was with another woman, which we assume that this is Young Miami, or was it Gina? You know, let me know in the comments who you think that was. Young Miami, he gotta be bold, getting mad at this woman, beating on her, all of this, like, and then talking. He's with another woman, telling her to set up a freak off. Do that freak off with them. That's how I personally would feel. So she finding out on social media that he was with another woman to set off an argument. Text between October 15, 2023 show that Combs insisted that Jane not say no to him. She responded that he made it very clear what he wants from her. All right? Force, fraud, coercion. Let's continue. Jane tearfully recalls telling Combs that she wanted to stop having SCX with other men. And you know what's so crazy? He wanted these men to bust nuts in her. And he told her that they get checked. This is something that they tell you. You letting all this unverified D get up in her area? That's crazy. That's how you know when they thought you out, they don't love you. Then he'll never see you in that light. Jane testified that she grew frustrated with the pressure on her to earn the most basic things from Combs, such as love and respect. She told the court that Combs seemed to give this freely to other people, but felt like it was impossible with her. Jane stated that she had spoke to Combs about not wanting to have SCX with other men, telling him that she wanted to make him happy, but that it was creating a war inside of her. Yeah, having all them spirits, you know what I'm saying? She said he had some fat, funky man all over her, dripping and all of that. Combs told her that that's not what he wanted from her. He didn't want no relationship from her. He wanted to dot you out and use your hole as a masturbatory sleeve. And the crazy thing about it is, usually they a PIMP pimping out the girl. He paying people to have sex. Like, this is why I don't understand what these rich people do with their money. So Combs told her that that's not what he wanted from Jane, and that she responded with that she needed a break. Jane put her head down during the testimony and wiped the tears away shortly after the court went on break. Let's continue, right? So Jane says that Combs would love bomb her whenever he wanted hotel nights. Of course, they're gonna love bomb you to get what they want out of you, you know? When Jane began to distance herself from Combs via text in 2023, he wrote back that he wanted to see her and that they didn't have to have SCX, according to the messages shown in court. But Jane called out Combs in her response, writing that she knew that she was going to that they were going to spend the day and he was going to love bomb her, but she felt that as though that she hit the wall, right? Asked to explain love bombing, Jane testified that Combs would shower her with love and affection to an overwhelming point. Why I don't hear nothing about him getting no gifts, no rollies, no crocodile Hermes bags or anything like that. But it's like, yo, he really did her the cheapest if you want to think about it. So in an article that posted, an article from the Cleveland Clinic explains that love bombing as a form of psychological and emotional abuse and is used as a manipulation tactic. It is a pattern that Combs, it is a pattern from Combs whenever he wanted to have hotel freak off nights with Jane, right? And you know what? Let me just tell you this, right? I've met people, and when I was younger, I probably, didn't see it. But once I got older and I realized a person was just being too nice to me, and it's like, we want people to be nice. But I'm telling you, when they too nice to you, it's because they're hiding something very bad about their personality. They feel like they know that they're so bad and they have to buy you to keep you around. But it sounded like he was just showering her with love and affection. He wasn't actually giving her no money, right? So let's continue. Jane said that she told Combs that she was tired of being treated like an animal, had the pum pimped out. All right. So by October 2023, Jane had become more vocal about her disdain for having have to perform SCX acts with strangers at Combs' behest. Jane testified that she told the defendant, "You treat me like an animal." The witness said that she needed a break from Combs and was tired of having to do all the dirty ish for him. That was crazy. And I remember somewhere in this testimony, she told him like getting his fantasies, getting his fantasies off by like sucking the man's D's, and she had to wear her nails white just like he did with Cassie. Just sick. This is what people do with money. Y'all be that bored? I would fly you out and be like, let's fly to France. I want to go out there and try a dish that I heard about. I would be doing stupid stuff with money, but I would be like, I would do it in a way where I'm a vlogger, lifestyle vlogger. I'll be writing all of that off. I would be writing all of it off on taxes. Like, you know, this is lifestyle. I flew out with my friends to France to eat quiche or something like that. I flew out to buy 5 of my friends Chanel bags. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would be like a good person like that. I don't get why these people, they got money, they be bored, they be on drugs. A lot of them is on drugs. Their brain just fried. All right. So Jane recalls throwing up while having sex with 3 men in a hotel. Jane said that Combs made her have sex with 3 men during a hotel freak off in 2023, a rendezvous at the Emertage Beverly Hills Hotel. He up in these pricey hotels, in a hotel hoping that the hoe don't tell. But then the hotels, and I hope that Jane also does a civil lawsuit against him too. Maybe this is not the premise, like, you know, she didn't state it now that she's testifying, but I hope she does it after. She didn't recall any of the name of the first, she didn't recall the name of the first man, but the second man was named Paul, and the third man was named Sean. She said that she had to leave to go throw up. Jane recalls Combs coming to check on her and then telling her to return to the freak off, right? She called the evening absolutely terrible. All right. Jane said that Combs would use her home where she was staying for leverage. The witness said that she couldn't just leave her relationship with Combs in October 2023, despite her objections to sex with strangers. At the heart of the matter was the financial control Jane said that Combs had over her by paying the rent in the home. And I believe that Jane did admit earlier in her testimony that, you know, it was for it. It sounded like a trade-off to me, but I do think that this is still force, fraud, and coercion. I personally do. Get in the comments and let me know what you think about that. Thumbs up the video and subscribe. So it was like my home was being used for leverage, the witness said in a text message to Combs, displayed in court. She accused him of threatening the roof over my head. Force, coercion. Do this or I'm not gonna do that. That is force, coercion, right? Jane, on seeing herself in Combs' sex tapes, I saw me being high, following a pattern, right? And this woman said that when she heard everything about Cassie, she was just like, damn, like somebody else went through the same thing I went through. So Jane said that she viewed the footage that Combs shot and kept of her having sex with strangers, blackmail, and he threatened her to release this. I saw me being high. I was following a pattern, the pattern that I thought he wanted to see. She testified. It was like a show over and over again. During the whole time, Combs insinuated that these ongoing orgies were done on her own free will. When asked in court if in fact she consented to the hotel nights, Jane said that she was still trying to figure that out. Right? So, I think Diddy is D-O-N-E. Well, let me know what you think. You think the man done? I think he done. So let's continue on. Man, I want you to tell me in the comments, if you was a billionaire and you was on the status of Diddy, right? Tell me what you would be doing with your extra money and your free time. I'm interested just to know. And all of us regular people, not regular, we're still human beings. There ain't nothing special about them. They're prize prisoners walking around with security all day, and they can't do regular things but doing freak offs, right? Tell me what you would do in the comments if you were wealthy and you were able to make changes like in friends and people's lives around you. Like, what would you be doing? Would you be squandering your time with freak offs and putting your whole net worth, your lifestyle and everything at risk? Tell me, I really want to know that. Let me know in the comments how you would be living your life. So let's continue. Jane Doe says she fainted when she saw Cassie's lawsuit. I just said that. So Jane stated that she fainted after Combs' former girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, filed a lawsuit. And can we even say that Cassie was his girlfriend? Because he thotted her out so much, he probably ain't never see a future in her either. All right, against the music mogul. She said that she fainted when she seen the lawsuit against the music mogul, recognizing the civil complaint that matched her own experiences with him, right? I almost fainted, Jane said after hearing about the lawsuit, right? In fact, I did. So Jane sobbed in recounting her reaction to Ventura's allegations. There were 3 specific pages that were just harrowing a reference to what I was experiencing. She said, I was bewildered, just in shock. I'm telling you, don't think that this girl don't got a civil lawsuit coming. She's probably going to get it too. So Cassie's lawsuit was like reading my own sexual trauma, Jane says. Jane testified that Cassie Ventura's lawsuit read like a play-by-play book of the sexual trauma that Combs allegedly inflicted on her. I reacted like, I can't believe I'm reading my own story. right? Ventura's civil complaint read word for word of the abuse she also endured, as the witness stated. I feel like I'm reading my own sexual trauma, Jane wrote in the 2023 text message when she was addressing Combs, right? All right, so let's continue. Conversation between Jane and Combs after Cassie's lawsuit all right, so a conversation between Jane and Combs after Cassie's suit recorded her without her knowledge. So he recorded her on the phone, and then he just still did devilish stuff after this. He had an indictment and all of that, this lawsuit, and he still was just doing nutty stuff like behind the scenes. Thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, all of that. So prosecutors entered into the evidence a recorded conversation between the witness and Combs, right? That was taken from the cell phone of Combs' Chief of Staff, Christina Coram, KK, which is going down. She going down. Basement. All right. Jane told the court that she didn't know that she was being recorded during the phone call, which occurred days after Cassie Ventura's lawsuit was filed in November of 2023. And the recording, Combs is asking Jane what he can do to make her feel better, and telling her that this love is true. Love bombing, lying, manipulation, fraud, coercion, hotel nights, freak-offs, using her whole as a masturbatory sleeve. Ugh. But Jane is confused, telling him that she feels sick to her stomach after reading Ventura's lawsuit, right? She told Combs that he made her feel so manipulated, and that she didn't know what to do with her own feelings, right? Combs told her that everything that they did it together. At one point, Jane is heard telling him that the timing was crazy and felt chilling. Jane is cut off by Combs, who then starts to say that just a week ago I was telling you, but Combs then interrupts to say she cannot be on the phone. Says that he cannot be on the phone. So yeah, he knew that he was recording her. She wasn't saying what he liked. So Combs asked Jane to pray for me in the recorded phone call. Now you want her to pray for you after you done thotted her out, used her whole as a community damn boardroom? That's crazy. Combs pleaded for Jane's support in the light of the damaging Cassie Ventura's lawsuit, according to the recorded phone call, right? I just needed to tell you that I needed your friendship, you know? You ain't got to worry about anything else, baby. Just pray for me, Combs said. I will be praying for you. I need your friendship. And then people were alluding to the fact that he wanted her to make a statement on his behalf to say that, you know, she was down with the freak-offs and, you know, pretty much detesting whatever it was that Cassie put out. And he settled with her, within like 24 or something hours, right? Judge Submarinian adjourned the court for lunch and asked jurors to return by 1:15 at this time. So Combs appeared happy to see his mom in the courtroom. We ain't worried about that, all right? Text messages show that Jane was breaking away from Combs by the end of 2023. So the prosecutors showed a series of messages between Jane and Combs in December of 2023, shortly after Cassie Ventura, and months after Jane expressed displeasure for Combs' insistence on her having sex with other men. So in the message, Jane writes to Combs that she is crying and troubled, insisting that she no longer wants to do these freak-off nights with him. She urges, right? She urges him to hire other sex workers, prostitutes. The prosecution sick of the prostitution. All right. She told him to hire other prostitutes rather than emotionally hiring women who love him, right? Which is her. So later that month, Jane texts Combs that he was never satisfied. Combs wrote back that he didn't want to fight. And asked her how to move forward. Jane told the court that after Ventura's suit was filed in November of 2023, she didn't see Combs until February of 2024. She testified that they were on a break. Pum break. She needed that break. Jane said that it was best for her mental health to stay away from Combs. So the witness told Combs in late 2023 that she needed to stay away from him, accusing the mogul of gaslighting her, right? Manipulation. In the series of text messages shown in court, Jane said that it was best for her to stay away from Combs, who didn't seem to understand the need for her distance. I wrote that because he was trying to work my reality. He was trying to work my reality again. She said, every time I would speak the truth or tell him I was feeling, he would move on from whatever I was talking about. Yeah, they never care about your feelings. And narcissists, they have a way to throw it back on you to make you feel guilty. I'm pretty sure he probably told her, I'm paying your bills. I'm doing this for you. Do you want it to stop? Jane said that she had ideations of unaliving herself in 2023. So Jane said that in the court that she had, unaliving herself ideations at the end of 2023, and said that she expressed to Combs that she would take herself out of this existence. She telling him like, I don't want to be here anymore, and she got a baby. How would that look? I feel like that's so wrong for parents to do that when they have kids, because how do they draw inspiration and strength from that? And they end up sometimes going down the same path. I ain't gonna get into too much, but I promise you, when that happened to Whitney Houston, and I'm not saying that she did it intentionally, but I worried about Bobby Christina, and maybe a day or after that happened, I said, keep your eyes on her and what happened to her shortly thereafter. That's all I'm gonna say. How do you draw strength from your parent being gone by an alleged suey? Like, you know what I'm saying? Ooh, so listen. All right, so she talked about the Sui ideation. She believed that Combs would use and break her, and she hated her life. She wrote to Combs that she was done with that. She wrote to Combs that he was done with her and that she wanted to just die. Right? When asked why she wrote those messages by the prosecution, Jane cried so hard that her answer was so difficult to understand. That's sad, right? He done pimped the poom poom out so bad and got you with all these demons and all these spirits all over your poor, all in your aura. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't care nothing about you but just making you a horror. Little house of horrors. That's sad. So Combs threatened James with SCX tapes. He threatened to leak her SCX tapes, she says, right? So in late December 2023, Combs threatened to release the SCX tapes of Jane and show them to her baby's father, the witness testified. She said that Combs kept calling her and pressuring her as their relationship devolved. Force, fraud, coercion. All right? Jane told the court that he told her that he had nothing to lose by releasing the tapes from the hotel nights, right? But would the tape show him in there whacking off to another man's buttocks and phallus going in and out, in and out, in and out? Thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel, please, if you're still here, right? If you're still here right now, say, I'm here right now. I'm here right now. I need you to type that in the comments. So Jane testified that Combs employee, Katrina Coram, KK, to alert. So Jane text Combs employee KK to alert her of the situation. All right, an exchange that was entered into evidence. Right. Again, she's a co-conspirator. Jane wrote that she was traumatized from her experience with Combs and just wanted space. But Combs thinks that she feels as though Combs was going to blackmail her. She wrote that Combs was threatening to expose the SCX tapes that she was involved in, where she was heavily drugged, and she begged KK to talk some sense into him. KK responded with reassurance and that nothing would happen to Jane, which Jane advised the court, right? All right. So Jane says that she joined OnlyFans platform not to rely on anyone. So I guess that's where, the OnlyFans talk came in, and, she was trying to make her coin over there. So the witness said that she joined OnlyFans platform in early 2024 after Diddy done used her hole up and all of that. The platform is popular with SCX workers who can sell explicit content of themselves to subscribers. I just wanted to reclaim having my independence and not rely on anyone and stand on my own 2 feet, she told the court. And I think that probably would have worked better for her, because you don't even really have to be intimate. A lot of people do the PORN on OnlyFans, but a lot of people can go up there and just show their feet or just show XC pictures and show their chest or whatever. And people, men, we're very simple. People will subscribe to anything, So we almost finished. Thumbs up the video. Please subscribe. Make sure that you support the channel. The Cash App is in the comments below, All right. So Jane said that she had SCX in front of Combs in February of 2024. So Jane told the court that she had SCX with another man in front of Combs in Miami in February of 2024 after having vowed to steer away from the defendant. So while this admission could damage Jane's narrative that she was being controlled by Combs, the government is trying to get ahead of the defense by having the witness recall the rendezvous first. Right? So earlier during the trial, the expert on domestic violence and abuse testified that victims regularly stay in toxic situations or go back to them, believing that there are no better options. He had this girl by the mind. He had her caught up in Charlotte's Web. So Jay said that her home was raided by HSI, and Combs paid for her lawyer. So Jane stated that she was still living in a residence paid for Combs in March of 2023, which Homeland Security investigations raided multiple residences belonging to Combs. So HSI agents arrived to her home at the time Jane testified. She told the court that she called Combs' head of security to alert him of the matter. right? So Jane stated that she was represented by 2 different lawyers, both of whom were paid and, covered by Diddy. He handled the financial end of that. All right. So the SEX worker wanted $10,000 for it. The SEX worker wanted $10,000 for a tape that they were intimate in. So a SEX worker asked for $10,000 to keep a SEX tape of himself and Jane kept under wraps, she stated. Right? The man, identified only as Cabral, said Combs shot the video using the former cell phone, thus giving the SEX worker easy access to the footage, according to Jane. He probably was trying to extort her. That could have been a lie too, just trying to get some money. These people trying to pay their bills, get their drugs or whatever, and do whatever they got to do. So an undisclosed media company purchased the footage, Jane said, but the explicit video has not been publicly shown. Damn. I wonder if Diddy's in the video too. So Combs claimed that the hotel incident was only time he assaulted Cassie, Jane says. So, and this was a lie because we heard Cassie's testimony. We've seen the pictures to back it up and all of that, right? Don't forget the extortion that he did to Cassie's mother, for the $20,000, even though he gave it back. Fraud, force, coercion, extortion, right? Combs invited Jane to be huddled, to a huddled he convened last year to address the fallout from CNN's release of the 2016 Intercontinental Hotel video in which Combs was assaulting Cassie Ventura. And you know that the forensic investigator, or the video investigator, he was on the stand, I believe, last week, and he said that the video was not altered and that it was very real, and Diddy was putting hands and feet on Cassie, right? So Jane told the court that Combs was attempted to come up with a response at one point, denying the video, but then eventually posting an apology video to social media. Later, when she and Combs spoke about the video, Jane said that he told her that was the only time that he had ever he engaged in physical abuse against Cassie. Liar. Narcissists are liars, right? Combs also said that Jane Ventura, that Cassie was a hitter. According to Jane, when asked if Combs told Jane that he would hit Ventura, Jane said, "I think so, yes," but she couldn't recall any of the specifics. Wait, when asked if Combs told Jane if he hit Ventura, she said, "I think so," but she couldn't remember any specifics. So she asked him if he put hands on her, right? So Jane testifies about a long, brutal beating at the hands of Combs. And this is when he told her to go S another D. Go S his D and F him and give him some PUSSY, right? So Jane testified a long beating that she suffered at the hands of Combs, and she got it on camera too, right? Last summer, just 3 months before he was arrested, already under indictment and under surveillance and all of that, he's still doing these freak offs during command. All right, the two were at her home on June 18th, a very terrible day. She stated that before recounting the horrific, violent details of their confrontation. It started when they argued about Combs seeing a woman at least 25 years his junior, what did I tell y'all? Now, I'm not saying, I think this could be Young Miami, but I'm not sure. But remember, I was doing videos and y'all tried to drag me in the comments. I said, Young Miami, I said, Diddy was 25 years old when Young Miami was born, and y'all didn't care because all y'all seen her was with Gucci, Fendi, Louis, Prada, them basic bitches wear that shit, so I don't even bother, right? So she got at him for being with a girl 25 years his junior, leading Jane calling him a pedo. She called him a pedo, right? And slamming his head into a marble kitchen counter, she admitted, right? So she slammed his head, called him a pedo. Then Combs flew into a rage with him kicking the doors to her master bedroom down and then the closet where Jane was trying to hide, the witness said. All right? She fled. Combs kicked her in the back of the thigh, bringing her down so he could start choking her, right? Jane recalled she managed to escape into the neighborhood, and she escaped for like 2 hours in hopes that Combs would leave her home, but he did not leave. She ended up back in the house in the backyard where she was curled up in the ball and he was stomping her, kicking her and punching her, right? You doing this to a woman, you a PUSSY. Women on average are 30%, or men are on average 30 to 50% stronger than women. What are you getting out of this? Like doing this? This is why, like, you hate women, you hate your mama, you don't like them at all. Then it was like, I remember from the original testimony, she was in the shower and he was like slapped her down and slapped her like 3 times in the shower, and she fell down in the shower. Like, this so complete, just a lunatic, right? So altercation with Combs left Jane with golf ball size welts, Right. So after Combs found her, Jane testified that he dragged her by the hair back into the house on the patio. She told the court that she punched Combs in the forehead, telling him that she hated him. Combs then allegedly punched her on the forehead and her eye area, Jane said. All right. So Jane testified that she saw later the night that she had 2 golf ball sized welts on her forehead where Combs had punched her, and that's when she went into the bathroom and then he continued to assault her. So Combs forced Jane to take drugs after he did this to her. After she had the welts the size of golf balls on her face, he forced her to take the ecstasy. This is why I told y'all he invited somebody over and told her, go give that poom poom to him and suck his D. Right? So Combs forced Jane to take drugs, having SCX with another man after the beating, she says. So after an elongating beating, and you know that this girl didn't want to do this, force, fraud, coercion, she didn't want to do that. All right. After an elongated beating, Jane said that she and Combs ended up back in the house where he forced her to take ecstasy and to have SCX with another man, baby. That he done right there. Right? As he watched. I really want to know, tell me right now in the comments if you made it this far to the video, what do you think Diddy is getting out of standing behind them having intimacy? You think he looking at the man butt cheeks? He want to see some hairy butt cheeks, or he want to see the phallus going in and out of her, and that's what he relieve himself to in climax. All right, so he forced her to take ecstasy and have SCX with another man as he watched. Combs said, and he even said to her, "Is this coercion?" before making Jane take the ecstasy, the witness stated. Then he had Anton, an SCX worker they hired before, come to the house, right? So I had to perform oral on Anton. It just felt like forever, she stated. Sean was watching. I just felt disgusting. I felt terrible. All right. So the court seen the 4 photos of the 4 doors that Combs allegedly damaged. Right. So prosecutors show photos of the 4 doors allegedly damaged by Combs during the altercation with Jane. Jane said that Combs damaged her closet door, bathroom door, bedroom door, and the guest room door. Just a savage. Just listen. Just a Tasmanian devil. Photos showed a crack down the center of the door of the guest bedroom door where Combs caused by kicking it. Right. According to Jane's testimony. All right. Jane said that Combs threw water in her face after the Miami partying. All right. Jane said that Combs reconciled enough for the pair to meet up in Miami, where they spent 24 straight hours partying and having SCX, the witness stated. But she said she asked to go to sleep after the round-the-clock action, that, the freak-off. Combs threw water in Jane's face and called her a bitch. Jane said during her testimony, she apologized and took an ecstasy pill, which turned his mood around before they invited Paul, a SCX worker, over they had previously hired. Right? So to drop by, according to the witness. So they wanted Paul to come back. He came to them about 1.5 days later. Right? When she sprayed MDMA into his mouth, they had SCX in front of Combs, she said. Right? Never having SCX with him in front of the guy, but he always wanted to see the man plowing her out. All right? So Jane says that that she prays for Combs' well-being, and this is where we wrap up right here. So when asked about how she feels about Combs now, she said that she prays for him. I pray for his continued healing, and I pray for peace for him, she said. Judge Submarinian dismissed the jurors for the day. So listen, I want to know what you feel about this with Diddy. You think he done? You think this sealed his fate? I think that Diddy is a demon. 666. When I see his face, demon time. 666. I think that he's going to get exactly what he deserves. I know that certain people, based on her testimony, they feel as though that she was in on it and that she was with it. But their force is definitely there. Fraud is definitely there, and the coercion, especially, even if you want to use that little part where she got to a room and he forced her to take ecstasy and go out there and perform fellatio. See, this write-up that I just read to you from NBC, it didn't have everything. It was just a kind of a roundabout, but he told her to go out there and S this dude D, suck his D, and give him some punana. I think Diddy is done. Listen, I don't want to make this video no more longer than what it is. Potent, pondering, never pandering. I want you to get in the comments. Let me know what you thought about day 19 of Diddy. I really want to know your feelings and your sentiments towards that. Subscribe to this channel. If you made it to the end, give me a thumbs up. Put the thumbs up emoji in the comments if you made it to the end. And I hope y'all all doing well. It's Monday. Don't forget to sign up for my wellness challenge. That's going to be in the description of this video. Make sure that you support this channel. The Cash App is in the comments pinned below. Potent pondering, never pandering. I hope y'all all enjoy your evening, and I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.